Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are back. Off the Top Media is back in full force. We got Jamie, we got Skiles, and we got my man Shadow. And today we're discussing, pretty much the state of WWE. It's kind of like a follow-up video to, what we talked about before. So, how are we doing tonight, guys?
I'm good. I'm good.
Boys, we're doing good. We're doing good.
It's good. It's good.
Sorry with the cough, dying over here, but I'm here.
Right. I appreciate you being here, though. So, yeah. So how are we feeling about, I guess, just the state of the WWE, and how we feel about I guess the direction that they're going right now.
It's for me. It's good to know that everything's not entirely up to the guy with the pencil stash. So that's a little bit of a safe spot.
Right.
There's always rumor and innuendo, but at the end, what I've seen from the past few weeks, just besides the first Raw after Mania, it's been a decent show, business as usual. Pretty good stuff.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. You're seeing Triple H guys and stuff like that, and they're getting the time that they were getting before. You're seeing people, but I still think there's a low morale backstage with Vince making even just changes at all. Which, if Vince is still even on hand, I don't know how this is happening because of a policy they introduced after Vince's release, actually. And it just catches me off guard that he's even in the weeds, if you will. So, the only weeds I feel like he's in is some. Never mind, Scouts.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned like the rest of you guys are about Vince. He may be back, but he's not. You gotta remember, he doesn't work for WWE anymore. He now works for Endeavor. So if he does something that they don't like, adios. And it's in his contract that if he gets caught doing anything else or any other scandals come up, they can get rid of him right away. So, right. I see that face, Shadow. I know you don't want to believe it. He only owns He only owns 18% now. He's not. He has no.
I've seen the little pie chart, but I'm more concerned about him committing another offense than I am him running the company.
Yeah, but he can't.
Oh, I'm just saying. I mean, a lot of hush money. He still could privately hush them up.
He would truly be done if that would happen, right?
Yeah, like they could just fire him because now he's an executive chairman of Endeavor.
Yeah, but at this point, he can throw a billion at a bitch, not a million. So
listen. Let me explain something. There's cancel culture, right? We're in it, or we were in it, whatever you want to call it. The only people that survive cancel culture, Eminem and fucking Vince McMahon.
Dude, Vince McMahon's been surviving fucking cancel culture for 40 plus years now.
That's
but now it's a big thing, and I'm saying this man single-handedly was told to leave the WWE, disappeared, grew a weird mustache. He looks like the Jewish Walt Disney has gone wild, and now he's running or has a percentage of Endeavor. Like,
no,
how do you let this happen?
I don't think he has a percentage of Endeavor. He has 18% of WWE stock, and that's until they get rid of it.
And then he's an executive chairman, though, of the new company that is from the merger.
Right,
but he could be fired. I mean,
he's still there.
Yeah, but he could be fired from that position.
And he'll still crawl back into the wrestling. I don't get it. Maybe he'll go sit with Tony Khan and do a bunch of coke. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a good thing. They might fill him out.
It might make his booking back be good again.
Because then he does is what whore he's sleeping with.
Oh shit, pal! What's that stuff, Tony? God, that's good shit.
That's good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, I honestly think the Raw after Mania, I think, was solely Vince just kind of going, well, I want to be able to make my presence felt and run Raw how I want to run Raw. So that's what I think. That's why I think Raw after Mania was so bad. It was just Vince one to be a control freak, as we all know him to be. Going forward, it does worry me a bit still because he's still making changes. They canceled the King and Queen of the Ring for Saudi, and now it's Clash of Champions. So it concerns me because he's making changes that just things that don't need to be changed. So
I have a point to make on this. Clash of Champions, or whatever the fuck it's being called,
Night of
built from
Champions.
Saudi Arabia, right? Built from Saudi Arabia. Okay, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn won't go, so that means one of two things: either the titles aren't being defended there, or they're losing them before that event.
probably.
And
Yeah.
here's another thing. I've heard a lot of stuff on Twitter, especially when the whole thing about the name change happened, and they're like, "Oh, Vince this, Vince that." It's not a damn Vince decision. It's a Saudi decision. It's trying to keep good with the Saudis. It's them and their human rights violations, and just trying to keep it, status quo when it comes to Saudi Arabia. So nothing to do with Vince. Nothing to do with the old man. It's business as usual.
I mean, it could. It still very well could deal with Vince.
As I'm saying, it feels like a Vince
No.
thing. Because
Thanks
I
for
know
the raid,
how,
Lime. Sorry, Cam. We just got raided
You're
by
good.
It's King Lime. He just came in here with 10 viewers. Got a shout
You're
out to
good.
the man.
Right on, bro.
Next time.
But no, it feels like a Vince decision because that's just how Vince is. Like Vince is he just makes these weird decisions, these last minute decisions and things like that. Triple H, on the flip side, he likes a little bit of nostalgia, for lack of a better word, but he likes treating stuff that is nostalgic with purpose. Like Vince doesn't really care too much about like the nostalgia stuff and stuff like that, unless it's like Brock or Goldberg or the money making machines from the past that he likes to bring back. Because we've seen how he treats like some of the past like Attitude Era wrestlers that have come back to the company, whatever. He treats them like crap. He books them, jobs them out until their contract is up, and then he gets rid of them. Triple H doesn't do that, so that's why it feels like a Vince.
Gals, what just happened there?
No, I was trying to go do some other stuff, and I don't know why it's set up that way. I must have...
Dude, Pornhub doesn't need to be right now. Relax.
It was not that. I don't do that shit on my computer. I don't need viruses on here.
Another reason why I'll bring it to the Vince point is Triple H has said numerous times they're trying to move away from those gimmick pay-per-views. Clash of Champions, Night of Champions, whatever the fuck champions, Saudi champs, whatever. It's a gimmick pay-per-view.
Right.
Classic pay-per-view.
I'm just curious as to see what they're going to do with it. Are all titles going to be defended? Is that something that they've announced on it?
I doubt it.
Are they still going to
not
do
if
a
Sammy
King?
and KO are still champs.
Are they still doing a King of the Ring tournament? And it's going to end there? They haven't announced anything with that, so we don't know.
No
To be fair,
tournaments
though-
in my company. That's what Vince says.
To be fair, to the point of King and Queen tournament, it was never officially announced by WWE. It was speculation.
Right, but to have something change on a dime like that is just rarely.
But it was never WWE that said, "Hey, we're doing this." It was all of us that said, "Hey, they're doing this." It was never WWE confirmed. So that's the point there, right? I mean, that's devil's advocate on that.
I don't know. It's just weird when they start changing stuff or whatever.
I'm actually surprised that they're going to call it Night of Champions, considering what happened that weekend. Of like one of the biggest ones they had.
Which was what?
I think the last time they had the Night of Champions there was when no one could make it back.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same show?
No, I'm
No,
talking
that was
about
one of the
Night
crown
of
jewels.
Champions. Night of Champions. They haven't called it that since like 06, 07 for a reason.
Oh. Isn't that
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did Night of
They cha-
Champions. They've
It's
done
Clash
it a
of
few
Champions.
times.
I think I think they called it Clash of the Champions. I don't think they've used
Ah.
Night of Champions. That is a
Okay.
very good point, Shadow.
Ah.
I'm gonna confirm that now.
Yeah, look it up. I don't remember. It's been a while. But either way, I don't like the whole. They're trying to make a Saudi pay-per-view mean something, and at this point, it's not because they'll be back over there in October.
I think the last time
Right.
was 2015 was the last one.
Just
Okay,
keep
fair.
calling it Crown Jewel.
But here's the thing, too. Maybe Triple H is trying to use up because they didn't agree to multi-years; they agreed to multi-shows.
Mhm.
So Triple H could be in the mindset of, "Fuck, if we get 2 done a year, that eats up that contract faster, and we can stop."
Yeah, I think there was a
Right.
total of 10 shows is what the contract was for. And I
And
think
we've seen 5.
I think at least 6 so far. If not 8.
Close. It's got to be close to the end of that.
So
deal.
it's probably getting close to the end, which I know it's a big money income for them, but it might be time to not go over there twice a year and start expanding elsewhere. 'Cause
I'm
there's-
actually a little shocked that they're even doing a show this soon after the whole rumors went down that Saudi was buying them and the backlash they got. See what I did there? Backlash. But
See, I think that was just a plant just to see what the reaction would be. I don't think they were even ever considered to be buying it.
doesn't matter now. It's done.
Because we all went
I mean,
nuts when that
Saudi-
happened.
Saudis have their money in everything, anyways. Just looking at the history of companies,
Yeah, they
Saudi
have
money.
part in
Saudi
Disney,
money is in
part,
every company,
Yeah.
everywhere,
part in
Right.
Disney, part Fox. Like, it's everywhere.
everywhere.
So I was wrong. In 2018, WWE agreed to hold an annual event for 10 years, 18 to 27.
Oh, so it's 10
So we
years?
still have another 4 years. Yeah, I just looked it up.
So 5
We have
years.
another 4 years left.
This one plus 4 more. So 5
Each
years
event-
left.
Each event that they hold there, they earn between 50 and 55 million per show.
Damn.
So you have 10 shows,
So
or 10
550,
years at 50 million.
half $1 billion. That's.
But is that worth your soul though?
I'm just
That's-
curious though. How does that work
They've-
now
they've
with
already- they've
Endeavor?
already sold them, so
Can Endeavor
Uh,
end that deal if they wanted to?
maybe.
They
I think
lose
the deal
money
gets
off it, though.
grandfathered
That's the
in.
thing.
I mean, Endeavor goes over there anyway to do. UFC does stuff on.
Exactly. They did the what not it's not the fight pit. They did Fight Island over there around Dubai and everything.
Yeah, in Dubai for
That was during the pandemic.
during the pandemic, so they can still fight.
Yep.
Which I was probably the only thing that was live at the time. That was great. I was able to watch it.
Yeah,
It got me. It got me
Vegas
into
was
UFC.
absolute shit. hmm
Comments said, Midwest Leah says, Vince needs to be in a padded cell, which was retorted by off the top,
Padded.
saying, which was retorted from off the top saying, a wooden box of 6 feet under does better.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Scouse.
Listen,
I mean, I've said
I don't think
worse.
6 feet deep. I don't think 6 feet deep does that man justice. We need him to go about 1,000 feet deep.
In
to make sure he's-
hell.
Just to make sure he's not coming back.
And I'm sure he's going to be buried face down, ass up, telling the world to kiss his ass.
And then we're gonna fill
Wow.
that
Sounds like
1,000 foot hole.
Vince.
Then we're gonna fill that 1,000-foot hole with as much cement as possible.
Okay, Paul Bear.
He ain't coming back. I ain't dealing with this. No zombie McMahon's coming back, bro.
Why'd you put me in cement? Taker, no!
This is off topic,
So-
but if if Zombie Vince ever came back, just aim for the quads. He'd be done.
So my main concern
He runs
is
the family.
are we going to start seeing Endeavor looking to cut roster? So are we going to see like some releases here and there? Some people, future Endeavor.
I think that's what they're going to do with the draft. A lot of people will go wherever between NXT, WWE, or NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and then you'll see cuts after the draft.
Yeah.
Yep. I think a lot of the cuts that happen though are gonna be more developmental guys.
Well, they're already being done on 6-month basis. So if they are not improving in those 6 months, they can just get rid of them. But I think it's going to start with the higher ups first, and then they'll work their way down, because that's usually what happens when you merge. Since there's multiple of the same position, they'll work on doing that first, and then they'll worry about the wrestlers. But speaking of that, what's everybody's thoughts on what Drew McIntyre did tonight during SmackDown?
Fucking blacked out his account.
Blacked out his account, removed all WWE references, everything.
That was before
I think.
SmackDown.
Uh-oh.
I think eventually they'll probably agree on something, and he'll probably come back heel. But
No. Seth did this too between character changes.
I was just going to say that this is a Seth move also, because he did this as he was going through the whole thing with, wasn't that with Bray Wyatt?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
after that fucking Hell in a Cell match, dude, that was fucking horrendous.
We could be getting a new look of Drew. Which one to be opposed to? I mean, I don't like the man. I've made my opinion on him very valid a few times. I mean, I could care
I'd like
less
to
where
see
he
him-
goes.
I'd like to see him be more vicious, more of that Scottish psychopath. A lot of what you saw kind of when he was away from WWE kind of just had that flame in him. That was
He needs
I
to
mean,
get...
methodical, vicious
What
guy.
more can you really do with Drew? He's done it already. He's gonna kind of just stagnate, really.
He needs to get rid of the sword. He needs to get away from that. He needs to be back in the title picture and away from this whole thing with Sheamus.
Yeah.
They need new challengers for the title, Shadow. They need a new
Drew is
title.
not.
They need a new title, which is rumored
Drew's
to be
not that.
coming after the draft.
Yes, I was just gonna bring that up. What did you guys think of the
I
article?
think him
updated
being
Raw,
champion
but-
in the pandemic really fucked him.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not his fault
I mean,
that it was planned before
no.
the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit.
It's
and-
not. But it's just it started a whole domino effect with him.
He was
Had
having
the
one.
I just don't care about Drew at all.
Had the pandemic never happened, I think he would have had an incredible run when he was champion.
Him and Sheamus were just
the only
putting
thing
on
Drew
great
has going-
matches.
I think Drew has going for him his broken dreams. Other than that, I don't give a fuck about him.
Yeah, they need to bring that back full time.
But so I shared a piece of a screenshot I got today via someone else that I speak to on a daily basis. I think I sent it to Cam. I know Cam's seen it because he made a comment about it. Said don't give a fuck about any of it. I said Jamie, you've seen it, and Gals, you've seen it. So the thing here with that is the draft is supposed to have Roman go to Raw, presented with a new title, get rid of the Universal and WWE. Just gone. And they'll present a pity title, excuse me, to SmackDown, which I think, yes, it's good because then you have a new champion. Fine. But it says that here, nobody can beat Roman, here's a fucking title. Fight.
I think that's the wrong way to look at
Also
it,
brings up
Shadow.
also brings up my next point that if this does happen, Roman's carrying to 40, just the way it's going to be.
And I think
I hope not.
I think that's part of the issue is they don't want someone to pin him with that title reign that he's had going on because it's almost at 1,000 days.
Right.
And if they are doing the draft before the 1,000-day mark.
I think it's a week before Backlash.
I just don't know how they're going to change the title reign on that. Because it won't be the
It's
Universal
easy.
anymore.
They just say all you have to say is a WWE Championship because that's what they keep describing it as, anyways. Because the Universal was ranked in with San Martino, Hulk Hogan, on all them. It's the WWE Championship. They're not specifically saying Universal.
Yeah, Triple
And
H
since they merged,
Triple H wants to retire the Universal title anyway, so.
Yeah, he wants new design.
And since
he wants
they-
new belt designs.
since they unified them, you technically could carry the lineage over from the WWE title to the Universal title, anyways.
I mean, that's
Same with the way
pretty much what they've
WCW's
done
lineage
anyway.
is moved into WWE and ECW is moved into WWE. Like, it's just a lineage. It's just absorbed.
Right.
Which I don't know. I agree, but I think it's dumb because it just says to your roster, "Hey, you can't beat Roman." So here,
What's the other way
I
to do
think
it? Strip him of one?
that's one way to do it, but you're not going to do that because then you make a champion look weak.
Yeah, I don't like that idea. I think after 1,000 days, it kind of starts, quote unquote, a new era, and then they have the draft, which is like, as Triple H put it, like, hitting the reset button on the on the rosters or whatever. So I think for the best way to do that is to present Roman with a single title that still represents his title reign or whatever, and then give the other brand a brand new title or whatever. I'm not opposed to it. I don't really care. I like the fact that they're moving or talking about moving Roman to Raw, just because there's nothing left for him to do on SmackDown. He's pretty much had his reign of dominance or reign of terror or however you want to look at it on SmackDown. So he's ripped through the roster 2-3 times over, so there's nothing left for him to do. So him going back to Raw, I think, just makes sense. And then them giving SmackDown a new title, I think it's just a refresher. I don't particularly care about the draft, as I told Shadow, just because it's hard for me to really trust anything WWE does or says now, especially with Vince being anywhere near creative. So it to me, it just looks like it's just going to be Raw just cleaning out SmackDown as they always do with these quote unquote drafts. So they're going to leave SmackDown with just literally table scraps to work with as in terms of a roster, and then Raw stacked again.
I think this one actually will be different, just because they are including NXT and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's going to make the difference, because there's already talk of Braun coming up. There's talk of Grayson Waller possibly coming up, or Carmelo Hayes coming up.
Waller.
But in reference to what you were saying about the 1,000 days, the 1,000-day mark is Night of
May
Champions.
27th.
That is
No, it's not.
That's May 27th. Night of Champions is May 27th, because Battleground and the AEW pay-per-view are on the 28th, which is the day after. A lot of balls for WB to go up against AEW with NXT. But
Yeah, well,
Right.
I remember last week, and you had this argument of when the 1,000 days was. So
my question for Cam would be, like, if we're going off of, say, Shadow's logic, if we're stripping the title, doesn't that cut, especially if you're stripping the Universal title off of him, doesn't that cut that 1,000-day mark, because that's the title he started that said reign with?
No, not necessarily. Because he never won. He never not won. He never lost. He's never been pinned for that title. So if they retire that championship, he'll be the only person to be like, yeah, I held this for a set amount of days, and I was the last one to hold it. No one ever beat me for it. So,
Right. And the title reign would go into the new belt.
But when, say, if I was the Intercontinental Champion, or say if I was the European Champion, and I won the Intercontinental Champion, and then if I the European Championship got retired, does my title reign cross over? No. And then also
But-
the next question would be, if we do that brand split and then Raw has Roman Reigns with the title, and then you have that pity title that you're talking about, who are you going to have
It's not going to be
to
a pity
represent
title.
SmackDown? Because you'd still want to continue that so story with Cody, right, on Raw, or do you bring Cody in on SmackDown to headline that for Fox? Like, what would you do? What would be your decision making, Cam, on that?
Before Cam goes off on this, because I see I'm thinking, it would be a pity title because you're saying to your superstars, you can't beat Roman. So here's a championship. Feel better about yourselves. So yes, it would be a pity title.
I don't agree with that.
So would Roman hold that motherfucker till he retires? Like, how does that work?
So, okay, so again, with him having both those titles, the way I'm looking at it is, like I said again, it would not affect his 1,000-day reign because again they just retired the championship and he was never actually beaten for that championship. So with the two belts being both world heavyweight titles, and they just combine, they just retired the one, they technically would just. And again, I'm just kind of like assuming what they would do. I'm not saying that this actually makes any sense or whatever. You can think however you want to think or whatever, but this is how I'm thinking. So they retire the universal title, but his reign still continues because it's basically being merged or absorbed into just one championship without him holding two titles.
The
Right.
lineage would just go into the new title that Roman gets.
Right. So it just continues. Then with him introducing this pity title order for SmackDown. That's a brand new title. There has nothing to do with Roman's reign and anything like that. Brand new championship. So how I would do it for the draft, I would just, like I said, they're going to draft Roman. If that is true, they're going to draft Roman to Raw. I would have Cody go to Raw as well and to continue that feud. Now, here's how I would say, because I know Shadow had said it earlier about Roman's probably holding that championship until WrestleMania 40. I think that's too long. It's at this point we're dragging it out too much. I think Roman loses the championship to Cody at SummerSlam. That's just me. SummerSlam, I think that's where we see Roman finally lose. And the way they're building up Cody, and a lot of people have said, like, because I know a lot of people were upset about him losing at Mania, and we went off on that the last time we were all together and talking about this or whatever. For some people, they're saying, Cody's been buried, or Cody looks like a chump now, blah, 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 blah. Well, he kind of does in a way because, his explanation for why he got attacked by Brock, that didn't make any sense because he was just like, he didn't really give us really an explanation as to what happened with Brock Lesnar. So that was kind of confusing. But I've heard some people heard some people say, they made the argument of they pretty much have strapped a rocket to Cody's back now, even more so because they're giving him more of a struggle for the chase on the road to, finally beating Roman. Now,
Right, it gives Cody his version of hard times.
Yep.
Right. Now, will the struggle make any sense? I don't know. We might hit some potholes on the way to get to Roman. I'm not sure, but that's the way that it's looking like going.
Well,
So
that's what
here's
I
my
want to hear.
problem. Here's my problem with what you just said, and it's only one little thing. Why at SummerSlam when the event isn't as big of a multitude event as WrestleMania?
That's
You
what I've
had
been
it there,
saying for the
right?
longest.
You can't anything less than WrestleMania of Cody winning. It just looks like we're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks with this crowd.
It diminishes the moment.
And anything less than the big four pay-per-views diminishes it even more.
Right. And my friend, Arcade Regiment, aka my buddy Phil, mentioned to me, he goes, if you do it at any other event other than WrestleMania, it looks bad, right? But my retort to him was, okay, fine. What did SoFi hold? 90 or 60 something thousand?
About 80 each day.
What does Ford hold?
About, I think 60.
Right. You probably fit about 70,000 in there with floor seating, stage development, depending how you do it.
Right.
That to me is significant enough. You're doing it in front of a large enough crowd, and if you don't do it there, you have to do it at Clash, or not Clash, TLC.
Survivor Series. or
Survivor
one of
Series would
those.
be the
No,
next.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank
Money
would
in the
be,
Bank. You have to do it.
London. Right.
Right.
London,
The O2
yeah.
Arena is a huge seating facility. You need to do it at something that has.
On a big stage, yeah.
Are they?
Right.
Is Money in the Bank? Is that going to be at the O2?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes,
that's a
at the
great
O2
venue.
Arena. No, they fucked up by not going to Wembley. That's why AEW got the uphold on that one, I think.
I don't think WWE wanted to go there. Honestly.
Maybe not.
Well, they're probably thinking, oh, we're going to be able to sell tickets to at least the O2.
So,
We're going to have a full crowd.
Ford Field for a football game holds approximately 65,000. It can be expended up to 70,000, and it can go up to 80,000 for basketball.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would say for WWE, it's roughly going to be around
73.
75 would be the number, I would say. And WWE has sold the most SummerSlam tickets ever for this event already.
Right.
So it's
And
about 50 something.
if they take a logical approach, like they did at Clash, bare minimum stage,
Mm.
you can get so much more people in there.
Absolutely.
Right.
But
So
have to wait and see. I've never been to Ford Field. I don't watch Lions football, so I couldn't tell you what it looks like.
There's nothing to watch about the Lions.
I think
Sure, Nate would disagree with that.
Nate would disagree, yeah. I was
You
just
know, the
gonna
only
say that.
good thing
It could
about
be
the
wor-
Lions
could be worse.
in
It
the
could be
past
held in,
years was Matthew Stafford, and he's not even there anymore, so don't even matter.
Could be worse. You could be a Steelers fan.
Oh, I knew it.
Oh.
I knew it.
Could be a Steelers fan.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what though, Cam? At least your fan base isn't as annoying as any of the New York fan bases.
That's not
Oh,
true.
boy. Oh, boy.
That is absolutely not true. I can guarantee you there are more annoying fan bases than the New York fan base, and it's in the other
Yeah,
major
Cowboys,
city.
yeah.
It's in the other
Cowboys.
major city in Pennsylvania too.
Yeah, Cowboys fans.
Cowboys
Insufferable.
and Philly are the two more annoying fan bases than I would say than either mine or Cam's teams.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Go Patriots, baby. We're coming back. Trust that.
Or Lakers fans.
Okay, cheater.
You want to call me a cheater? Hold on. What was the final score of last night's hockey game between the Rangers
No
and
one's
Leafs?
talking about hockey right now. Oh, you want to talk about cheater?
No,
You
no,
guys
but
got it. You hold on. You had Toronto rig a goal not to count so you can get the win. So nice try. Nice try. Nice try. Keep moving on. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up if you know you're wrong. Moving on.
I'm not wrong. Your team's just that shitty. So
No.
they're the rags.
It's called the replay room is in Toronto, so they wanted to help out their hometown team.
College team doesn't know what offside is, but take a seat.
I'm not talking about the offsides one. I'm talking about the one with 2 seconds left to tie the game.
Yeah. Well, she didn't kick the puck either then, huh?
We didn't kick the puck. Oh, Sammy, you got to be quiet in there. New York teams don't suck. Sammy's talking trash in the chat.
That's just a little preview of hitting the ice without the top coming soon. Well, we
I
went
don't
way off
think-
topic here.
I don't know anything about hockey, so this is awesome to hear.
Let's go blue.
Let's go.
It really doesn't matter because neither my team or his team's going to win. So
I would love for
And
one of our
mine's not
teams to
even in
win.
playoff contention. Woo!
So,
all right.
what
back
else
to
do we
wrestling
think?
here.
What else do we think is going to happen with this draft? Is there anything that you think is going to be like the major surprise of somebody being drafted?
No.
Damage control will get split up.
I think to all 3 shows.
Yeah.
But you said NXT, Bailey?
I would love for that because then she could go win the title.
You don't
Bailey
want
to
to do it.
NXT? That'd be weird.
Go back
Right,
where
but
it started.
you don't want to do
Charlotte
it to
did.
Io. You don't want to do it to Io, and you certainly don't want to do it to Dakota. Way too soon. Only a year into their main roster and send them back down?
Yeah, no, that's a bad idea.
Right. So the logical choice is
Would be
Bailey.
Bailey. I mean, I guess so, because Bailey could go back down there and then she could just easily just reinvent herself again. So
She can go back down with the high horse ass gimmick. I'll beat everybody on the main roster. I'm here to fuck you guys up now.
right,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind that.
Where do we see Eric Young going?
Is he even
Yeah,
coming
sure.
back?
He's
Is
been
it-
signed with.
I don't know if any of you know.
He's
Yeah,
been
it's
signed with
November.
WWE since
He's
November
been-
1st.
He was working with Bray Wyatt doing a lot of his backstage vignette shit.
Interesting.
He was the
Maybe he's not
Leatherman
back
that
as a
won
wrestler. Maybe
He's just-
not
He'll
back
probably
as
be like a
wrestler. Maybe he's-
producer backstage or whatever. Kind of taking the Abyss role or whatever.
In that case, I don't see him.
He's
being
not
back.
very old.
I don't see him
He's
being
not.
back on screen.
It's what, early 40s?
Late 30s. So Cam, instead of the draft stuff, I have a question for you because I know you're high on these guys, and I'm not shitting on you because I've actually given them a chance. But with the 2 guys from Schism requesting their release, how do you feel? And being denied after being confirmed, like, huh?
Well, yeah, that confused me because I was watching NXT's and I was for certain that they had requested the release. I didn't know they were denied until you just said that. But it makes sense now. Now I'll say this: my opinion on them have changed. I did like Schism until NXT just kind of forgot about them, and I think the whole Schism experience is kind of the whole Schism experiment has kind of just fell flat. So they were great when they were actually having them on screen and things, but this sometimes I feel like NXT is kind of overcrowded because they try to push so many different groups and so many different tag teams and female wrestlers and singles wrestlers that they just kind of forget about some people. And Schism, I think, was one of those groups they forgot about. So right now, it's just like their gimmick or whatever they were trying to do with them is just kind of dead now. So for me, I really don't even care about Schism anymore. Just as long as they give me Joe Gacy and maybe Ava Raine, I'm good with it because they definitely need to push Joe Gacy more because Joe Gacy's amazing. So Joe Gacy's the only person I care about now, honestly.
So the 2
Sure.
members actually have a tag title
yeah.
shot this week coming up.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
I would absolutely love to see Gacy and Wyndham work together.
That'd be interesting.
It's like the same
Yeah.
I
character.
really think they. Right. But it would work for what Bray does.
Yep. I thought he was Husky Harris when they came up for the costumes. I thought that was Joe Gacy, isn't it?
I think Gacy was the pig character.
Yeah, that's Husky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Grayson Waller was
Was the
Mercy the Buzzer.
Grayson
Buzzer.
Waller.
Mercy the Buzzer.
Waller.
Yeah.
Since we're speaking about the state of WWE, now, it's no hidden fact, Big Bray Wyatt guy. But I can't say that I'm hurt missing him. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. I've given up knowing what's going on. It sucks, but at the same time, like, why? Why am I going to care now? That he burnt his own momentum at this point.
Personally,
And it's him
well,
this time.
Well,
I don't know if it
okay,
was him,
so-
but I'll let you go, Cam.
yeah. I was kind of agreeing with Scouts. So, first of all, I know how big of a Bray Wyatt fan that Shadow is, so he might hate me after I say this. But because I know I've told Scouts this, I've told probably Nate this as well, but like I just gave up on just the character or just Bray Wyatt himself. With
Mhm.
he had a massive return, and then you had the whole Uncle Howdy thing or whatever. They waited way too long. They should have had a reveal by now, in my opinion. And then they had the whole, what was it, Mountain Dew Pitch Black match or whatever, which was subpar at best. So they
Mhm.
kind of ruined him from the get go. I don't know if it's creative that really never was behind him having you know this much control over the direction of his character, because I think that's what it is. It's him and creative going back and forth on having different ideas of the direction of the character, and I think Bray just really wants to have, even if it's just 50% of control of where he goes with his character, and
Right.
they're not willing to give him that. So I've kind of given up on this whole just Bray Wyatt in general, because it's like every time we turn around, it's always some kind of controversy or some issue that he's having. Personally, and like I said, I know that he said in the past, like, technically the Fiend character is dead or whatever, but there should have been like some sort of resurrection or a new version of the Fiend or whatever they should have brought back, because that would have just made his character blow up even more, and it would have kept it fresh. And on top of that, they could have used him as kind of like an MJF kind of character, where it's like you're not having him wrestle every single week, or having him on SmackDown every single SmackDown or Raw or whatever, because
Right.
you don't want to oversaturate his character and water him down, and you're constantly seeing him. So you want to have him sparingly, like here and there. So
Right.
I don't know. It's a odd situation. Personally, I feel like he should just get out of wrestling, and he needs to go into like making like horror movies, because the dude's a genius. Like I've said this before, and I don't think he is a wrestler's wrestler, for a lack of a better term. I honestly think he's an
No.
artist. He likes creating these dark and mysterious kind of characters, and I think that's perfect for like horror movies. So I think he would be great, either writing horror movies or starring in them, or both. I think he'd be great for Hollywood, in my opinion.
Well, 100%. And I don't hate you. I think that take is completely relevant. And I'm going to maybe hate myself for this later, but Bray Wyatt's time, like I said, he shot himself in the foot. He can't get out of his own way.
Right.
He's not picking one subject matter and going forward. He's, all right, here's what we're laying down with Uncle Howdy, but I want to go this way to do Bray, and I want to go this way to do Howdy, and I want to go this way to do main roster stuff. He shot himself in the foot. This
Right.
whole injury, I don't know what it is, because it's never been discussed. It's never been confirmed. It's not even, WWE hasn't even made mention of it. They've only taken him off shows. Like, I was supposed to go to a house show that he was supposed to fight LA Knight at. Matt was supposed to go to a house show where he was fighting LA Knight at. Those never happened. Disappointing, sure. I still had a great time. He hasn't been on my TV in almost, since Royal Rumble, basically.
It was,
And I'm fine with that.
I think it was once after Rumble, and then that was it.
I'll never give up on Wyndham Rotunda as the man, but I've given up on Bray Wyatt the character.
Bingo.
Right.
And that kind of brings me to where I'm at, because I am a huge fan of Wonder Rotunda and the man too. But when it comes to WWE and their next moves as business, my suggestion would be, hell, you pretty much have say a Bray-like character and a Joe Gacy. You have the Dyad, you have Schism, which is a great act. Shawn Michaels, he had he has a lot of talent there in NXT. You kind of get them lost in the shuffle. Why not reintroduce them? Say you have 3 hours on Raw that you're doing subpar content with, anyways. Why not have something fresh like that pop up on your show? Even if
do a
it's in 5
storyline
minute
where
spurts.
Do a storyline where Gacy is somehow related to Bray and have him run the new fucking Wyatt family.
Some shit. And it doesn't even have to do with Bray, but you could still have kind of the sense of what Bray was doing, like the whole, you have your clique, they're doing shit. They're probably kidnapping people and taking them, something. Something
So
fresh.
So I have the perfect way that you have Joe Gacy and Bray sort of intertwine storylines or whatever in a perfect way, probably even to bring the rest of Schism onto the main roster. So because I know how like Joe Gacy's gimmick started out, and he was kind of like this. I don't even know what you want to
He
call
was
him. Like,
woke, is what it was supposed to be.
yeah, right, exactly. So you can kind of incorporate that a little bit and have him be kind of like, I don't know, this dark pastor kind of person, and just cut like these in-ring promos, and he's talking, biblical, or
Well, pretty
he's
much a
talking
fucking cult leader, but not in the
Basically.
same
Talking
vein
in
as
tongues. Talking in
Wyatt was
tongues,
doing
yeah.
it.
right, talking, just being very cryptic about what he's saying and things like that,
Mhm.
and then after
Like
maybe
Waco.
I don't know. After maybe a month of this or whatever, then he reveals like his true intentions, and his true intentions is to like resurrect the Fiend. I think that would be perfect. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, but after
Right.
2 weeks of it, the people, the IWC be like, oh, why's this guy?
Yeah, well,
He's taking
well,
too
like,
long. Why
I've
hasn't
said it in the past.
nothing popped up on my TV?
Listen.
I'm a wrestling fan. I'm mad.
Yeah, they can cry all they want with sucking their corn the long way, all right? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, we really need to stop. We really need to stop this bullshit, because I spend a lot of time on Twitter these days just looking at stuff, and it's kind of tiring to see no DQ or even Fightful at this point. And yes, I'm going to say JD as well and others. It's like, yes, they have great takes, but sometimes they're
They say a
completely
whole lot of
outlandish with their take.
nonsense.
But they're not completely
a whole lot
off
of
base.
nothing.
That's the problem. But the IWC, that's not what I just said, is completely garbage.
Yep.
We have so many people rambling on. Like,
No one knows what they
Like, for
want,
instance-
but they also don't know what they want to say.
nobody wants to be realistically inclined to make a true take because they're worried about it being diminished or demolished or considered a
Right.
hot take. Like, bro, I don't care. I'm gonna say what I say. I just shit on Bray Wyatt, and I'm one of his biggest fans.
Right.
True.
That doesn't mean that's not mean I've given up on the person. I've just given up on the character because you've gone nowhere.
You're looking at it from a realistic point of view, and that's how
Right.
we got to be nowadays, especially the way that the whole internet wrestling community is taken over. We got to be the not. I hate the word gatekeeper because it's absolutely not what it is, and that's what I hate. But at the sense, we got to be the real ones in the room. We got to be the ones that actually fucking get it.
How
See,
you doing?
That's part of the problem also is that no one really knows what they want. They want this, they want that. No one can make up their mind. Everybody's so indecisive about what they want to see. And everybody wants to complain just to complain instead of enjoying it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that oh yeah, I'm glad that Shadow brought up my guy JD. If you guys don't know, I know Scales kind of already knows this, and Shadow kind of does already too. But I know a lot of people don't like JD, but he is literally the sole reason that I even wanted to get into this podcast thing or whatever. So he's pretty much a big inspiration for me, and the reason why is because I know like he's kind of unorthodox and he may be loud and he may be obnoxious to some people, but for me it's like I was inspired by him because for one, a lot of what he says and a lot of what he thinks and a lot of his takes is what I've been saying about the product for years. And but with him, it's like what he says is just real. Like he doesn't really care what some of these people who just whine and complain in the IWC. He hates that. Like because they'll claim they want one thing, just like Scal said, and then when they get that one thing, then they complain about it once they get it. But it's like this is exactly what you wanted. Why are you complaining? So it was just like his last stream that he did, because he was talking about kind of off topic here, but he was talking about AEW Fight Forever game and the hold up with that or whatever. and there was a report that said that, well, the game is, nearing its completion, and then of course you have, the whole uh, lawsuit or whatever from GCW or whatever that's, causing a lot of the holdup. But he was kind of coming out the IWC because everybody's like, when's this game coming out, and is it ever coming out? And a lot of people are complaining and stuff like that. And he was just like, just be patient. Like, why do you want a game to come out that's not finished? How many times have you seen games that you guys want, and then you're rushing it?
2K20.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Cyberpunk.
And Cyberpunk's a perfect example. When he said that, Cyberpunk's a perfect example. You kept rushing it and wanting to come out, and then when you get it, it's not completed. You have all these glitches and bugs and all this stuff like that. So
Have they even
Fair,
re-released that
Cyberpunk,
game?
They were developing that son of a bitch for about 8 years, so there you go about that.
Have they even released it again?
I don't think they re-released it yet. No.
So, another point to what Cam just said, and I fucking forgot. God damn it. I don't remember now.
Wasn't it the guy from THQ that came out and said, "You want me to release the game now when it's not finished? Sure, I'll do it."
right.
It's like,
Probably.
like
Oh,
he-
I remember what I was going to say now. To Cam's point, we also live in the era of TikTok. And it's not a shot at TikTok, the app, at all. But what's the average video length? 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
If not 15, 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The attention span of this generation's wrestling fans is that long. If you can't captivate an audience within the first 10 seconds of that match, nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
all these
unfortunate.
things you guys are saying is exactly what he said. We live in the TikTok era. We live in the social media era where people's attention spans are just not like anything
Fair.
longer than like 30 seconds. They're just like, okay, I'm bored with it. I need something else that's going to grab my attention. Or whatever. People want stuff now versus waiting, and it's the same thing. You can tie this back into wrestling with storylines. They don't want drawn out long-term storytelling. They don't. They claim they do.
But us
they don't.
what the issue is us older school fans want those storylines.
Right.
Because they tell, like, look at the Vince McMahon, Steve Austin storyline. That went on for, what, 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get bored of it? Because I didn't.
No.
no.
Like, this is the problem, is it... You can't make up your mind. So I'll put it this way. You can't have your fucking dessert and your dinner all at once.
Yeah.
Stop being a bitch and just watch the product. Enjoy it for what it is.
Yes. Yes.
And stop trying to compare the two companies against each other. Each has each is good, each has its faults, but they're not going to be the same. You can be a fan of both.
They never meant
It is
to be.
okay. It is okay to like both shows. You are not in
And
the
they both
minority
have
if you
their-
like both.
Right.
And they both have their niche audiences that they both appeal to, and they do a damn good job at it.
Trust me. For me to say that from 2.5 years ago to now, that shows that you can like both products.
Right.
I started watching AEW in 2019. I ordered all... Pretty sure my headset's dying. 1 sec.
Oh, boo.
I started watching AEW 2019. I watched All In pay-per-view for the first time. I fell in love with the company because it was something different than WWE. It was always set out to be different than WWE. We have all these IWC fucking spoiled little bitches complaining and whining that, oh, this isn't WWE. Oh, you bought WWE. Yes, I shit on it a couple times for them bringing in WWE superstars. Fine. But you know what? The best way I thought about it now is everybody's got to eat. So it doesn't matter what company you go to. Doesn't matter where you've been. Because by that logic, a lot of superstars in WWE and AEW are coming from New Japan. You know,
Or-
shit on...
Or Ring of Honor.
Right.
Or TNA.
You're not shitting on those companies for saying, oh, you're using these guys from here. No, they just gave them a bigger platform. AEW gave them more space. Now the roster's a little overdone, sure. But at the time, it wasn't. So people need to stop, take their head out of their asses, and look that everybody's got to eat. And stop being, oh, this and that. Like, wrestling is wrestling. Enjoy what you watch. You don't like WWE? Fine. Keep your mouth shut, because no one gives a fuck about your opinion.
And it's a damn good time to be a fan of all wrestling.
Yes.
I don't even care if you like my opinion, because it's my opinion, and I don't need it to matter to anybody but myself.
You could technically say right now that wrestling is oversaturated with all the different companies that are out there.
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Because you have AEW, WWE, Impact, New Japan, GCW, MLW, NWA. Like, and that's just 7 of them that I can name off the top of my head. That's not counting all the little indies and all the other major ones that travel through all over the different places. But that's 7 just rolled right out real quick.
Yeah.
And you go back.
Did I say, isn't there MPW, Major Pro Wrestling, too? And you have Women of Wrestling. Like, there's so many.
Pro Wrestling,
Right.
Noah, all Japan.
Go back 12 years, and all we had was WWE. I mean, yeah, we had TNA, etc., but like it wasn't. But now
Right. AAA.
you have these companies that are feeding people. Wrestlers have a chance to go and make a name for themselves everywhere. It's not just WWE end all be all anymore.
Right.
WWE is still the Mecca. Do not get me wrong. It is still the Mecca. But the times are changing slowly where it's almost gone back to a territorial style.
Right.
Yeah. It hasn't been that way since 85.
It's been a long time.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the way the wrestling is going right now. Now, the point of this podcast was the state of WWE, and we completely gave you a whole other tone here at the end, or not at the end, but midway through here. But the point is, without these companies, WWE doesn't have superstars. Because these are where these superstars made their names, and WWE only cares about the big names. They're not trying to develop anymore. That's been made clear. They're not trying to make developmental a thing anymore.
Yes and no. They seems to have gone back to it a little bit with NXT.
In the post Mania interview, Triple H said they were there at the campus doing trials, which tells me they're not interested in bringing in like semi-pro wrestlers. They're interested in bringing in college athletes again. I don't care for that. It only worked out once.
With who?
And they tried.
Who did it even work out with? Because the one that
and Chad Gable.
I was gonna say, because the other one that they thought it was gonna work out with has now gone back to school, and is not even gonna be seen in a WWE ring at all. In Gable Stevenson.
Wait, was that the Olympic wrestler guy?
Gable Stevenson? Yeah,
Gabe
he's going back to
Stevenson.
school again.
Yeah. Piece of shit.
Anyways,
go ahead.
I don't know why you threw the piece of shit in there, but he has a heart condition.
So
No, but-
you're saying he has no heart to wrestle? What a dick!
No heart. Come on. Draft pick Raw, by the way. Anyways, Tiffany Stratton. That's one. She's doing good work in NXT.
She is.
Just hate her character. Great wrestler. Just hate the character.
Fair.
Gosh, if you're really trying to, would Braun Breaker really count? Because he's a product of the Performance Center.
I mean, Carmelo Hayes was an indie wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casanova something.
And Grayson Waller
I'm gonna-
was as well.
I'm gonna touch on what I mean. Until they make a main roster debut and you actually see them pushing, they don't give a shit about developmental.
Yeah.
It's fair, I guess.
Because look at OVW. If they stay, if Cena, Batista, Orton, Lesnar stayed in OVW and didn't come up to the main roster and got the pushes they got, nobody would know their names today.
True.
Could say the same about Roman Reigns.
But that's my point. If you're not going to push your developed talent, you're not developing. You don't need to push them into the world title. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're not going to give them equivalent TV time, like it doesn't make sense. Like, you're not even pushing the talent you developed and wasted all this money on to get them trained and everything.
Right. Well, I mean, I've said this before, but I think Braun Breaker is going to be the next guy after Roman. Honestly,
If Vince is in charge, we're going to see Braun Breaker as Scott Steiner 2.0.
probably.
I mean, I'll be saying I told you so when I called it before WrestleMania 38 that Braun Breaker was going to take the belts from Roman at WrestleMania 40.
Okay, well, you could tell me so when we're looking over from our seats looking down on this.
It's fine for me.
But it's not going to happen.
I think it will. I still think it will.
I don't care where we're sitting. I'll find a full bottle of Pepsi to throw at Breaker from wherever the hell we are. Probably going to beat off some little kid in the fucking bowl down. But hey,
Whoa. Doing what to the little kid?
beamed off, you know? Just
Oh shit! I'll shave my head if that fucking happens.
I might just throw Scalise from the balcony. He could be used as a torpedo.
Please don't.
I'd pay to see that. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you ain't throwing me that far. Was there anything else we wanted to touch on tonight?
I do, actually. This isn't relevant to WWE, though.
Hey, this is chat. This is family time.
So, it's brought to my attention lately, and all the fucking stupid little bitches of IWC have brought it to my attention. But could Matt Jackson be holding off the surgery he needs so he doesn't get that time added to his contract? Because Tony did that with Kenny.
Yeah.
Because Kenny's contract was up in December.
And he added the extra 9 months to it.
And he hasn't re-signed a new one yet. Now, this isn't me saying, hey, they're coming to WWE, but it doesn't look good when three pillars are considering leaving what they built.
It's a leverage play. They're gonna try to milk Tony for all he has.
I don't know.
Which, if this happens, and I hate to say it because I love the Bucks and I love Omega, if it happens the way you just said, is NWO 2.0.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could see them going back to New Japan before going to WWE, though.
I don't see them coming to WWE at all. Especially if Cody doesn't get something within the next year,
so
they're not going to come to WWE.
let me rephrase that. I don't see the Bucks coming to WWE, but I do see Omega coming for a short-term deal. I think he would sign a 1-year deal with there, just to say that he was within WWE.
And he'll do his matches the way he wants to do his matches, and then eventually he'll go and, he'll have his dream matches, do what he wants to do. His little run, his little world tour, and then go. Yeah.
I see Kenny Omega coming to WWE more unlikely than the Bucks coming.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah. I don't think the Bucks are... Because their style for tag team wrestling, I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well,
Stupid Vince
might
having
be
to
able
come
to-
back at freaking WrestleMania, ruin everybody signing with WWE. Fucker.
the Bucks and the Usos would put on a good match.
Super Kick Party!
Super Kick
The
Mania.
The Bucks and New Day potentially could, depending if Big E's healthy.
Oh, we should be
Why
getting an
not
update
just do-
on him.
Why not just do Woods and Kofi?
I would do Woods and Big E. Kofi's a little older.
Fair.
No,
So are
nothing
Matt and
against
Nick.
nothing against Kofi. It's just Big E brings that element, and Woods can sell like a bitch. So
Yeah.
it brings that big man, little man mentality, right?
But you could have them three versus the Elite.
That would be nice.
Right, you could do that.
We should be getting an update on Big E soon.
Omega versus Gunther, because they're both strong style wrestlers.
That'd be amazing.
Because Kenny possesses that Japanese strong style,
Mm-hmm.
and oh my god, he's one of the few North Americans that have it nailed down.
Kenny versus Nakamura.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes, please. Yes, please.
sorry, I just.
Kenny versus Seth.
Seth. Yep, that was my next one. I mean, just the possibilities are endless with that.
I know he was recently just at the, I think, Battle of Los Angeles, but what about, like, wasn't Kota Ibushi supposed to come back to the States and eventually do some stuff within WWE?
He's still a free agent.
Right. Like, I heard he was wanting to do some backstage stuff within WWE and maybe have some, one or two, maybe just a few dream matches.
Right.
Have a short program.
I think that was still in the rumors.
I mean, yeah, it's still in rumor. I just haven't heard anything.
There really hasn't been any updates on it. Wouldn't surprise me if he got scared away, though.
Probably.
Since we're on the topic of AEW, how do we feel about Jeff Hardy coming back?
Should have stayed away.
Grain of salt.
He looks good. He's healthy.
But for how long?
Right.
But I can't
Take
get it
another
out.
bump.
Listen, I love Jeff, but I'm more of a Matt fan. But I love Jeff. But the next time I hear he gets behind a vehicle while he's intoxicated by anything, I will find my way to South Carolina, and I'll hit him with the car he drove because I'm tired of it. I'm not saying this as a fan to a wrestler. I'm saying this man to him. But if you're going to keep fucking up your life like this and putting your life at jeopardy and my family's or your family's or other people's families at jeopardy because you made the dumb decision, I can't live with that. Because, and I'm going to say this, if he gets behind the wheel and he kills anybody, you can put him in the Chris Benoit category.
Jeez.
The pretty much the Benoit Sonny category. Yeah.
Oh, fuck Sonny. But it's
a lot of people have.
A lot of people have, yeah.
But I don't mean that to come off. I know how that sounded, but
It's
that's me talking to a man, not man to wrestler or fan to wrestler. Wrestling, he'll always be one of the greats, 100%. Just like Benoit, as a wrestler, will always be one of the greats. But the person themselves are trash if they keep making these decisions.
Valid.
Right. Now, so I would say this, like, of course I like Jeff. I've always been a pretty big fan of Jeff as well. And I think I told Shadow this a little bit, but with him being back, that's great and everything. But I really want to see him be in literally the best wrestling shape of his life. So, I don't know what he's
Never
really
happens.
done, since being gone or whatever. But that's what he needs. He needs to be in the best shape of his life, honestly, wrestling wise, and outside the ring. And I say that because Jeff hasn't really. I know he's getting older and he's really slowed down since his younger days, but he hasn't really looked like Jeff in some time. So he needs to be not only in a good place mentally, but a good place physically as well. I see this being, for him is in Matt, the Hardy Boys. I see this being probably their last 6 months to maybe a year before their, eventual ride off into the sunset, because the sooner that he has his, his send-off or whatever with his brother, probably the better, because we drag this out any longer, and I do think he's going to slip up again. I hate saying that, but this is literally his last chance. If he screws this up again, you can probably bet that all the people that have supported him through all these screw-ups throughout the years will probably give up on him, because at that point he's hopeless. He really is.
Pretty much the same thing that Bully Ray said today on
Busted Open.
Busted Open, yeah.
Like,
It's hard. It's hard to see one of your childhood heroes become a villain of their own story.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
they need to be done in AEW by February so they can be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in April in Philadelphia.
Right.
And
So I can see them.
I will say this, and it's been echoed across the wrestling world, and I know I don't really want to mention her name because I'm trying to get her on for an interview, but Rebby has even said Matt needs to stop babying him.
Yep, 100%.
And that's why when it comes to Jeff, she's supportive, but she's very hands-off now. Is because she recognizes Jeff has a problem, and Matt's there to baby him 100% of the way. But then a lot of people are like, well, you enabled the behavior. And I've seen Rebby attacked for this, and that's not fair. Because
Not at all.
Matt babies him, doesn't enable him. Matt babies him too much that, oh, it's okay, we'll get past this. That's fine, I get it. But he doesn't enable Jeff's drinking. He doesn't go out and buy him cases of beer. He doesn't go liquor store. He doesn't do that. And that's been made very clear by Rebby. But she says he needs to stop babying him. But it's hard. And I get it. That's your brother. You want to be that rock for him. But at some point, you need to say, hey, dummy the fuck up because you're costing... You have 2 little girls at home.
Right.
They need their father. I don't care if Jeff ever wrestles again. I don't. That man needs to be there for his children. And the way he's going, he's not going to be there for anybody.
I mean,
Right.
even outside of the personal stuff, you know, you ruin your big money opportunity in AEW with that program with the Young Bucks. You know, they're totally doing something now. They're getting ready to do a program with Punk, maybe FTR. Like, at that point, like, what are you coming back for?
The Elites have already said they won't work with Punk.
That's
And I don't think that's kayfabe at all.
that's misleading because there's lots of stories out there right now. Punk has said that he's willing to work with them or without them. So it's really essentially up to what they want to do and what they're willing to do. He's
Right.
willing to
That's
move,
enough.
he's willing to move past this now. At least that's what's
That's
been
another-
reported. But,
No, you
but
know why
heck,
he's
you know,
past
even
it? 'Cause he's out of money.
oh, I understand why. I
don't
get
give a
it.
fuck about CM Punk.
I mean, he's really not
He's a
out of
little-
money. His wife is still making money, and we're wow. So
I don't think it's
Listen.
that. I genuinely think he does like wrestling. It's just like I said, Punk is just outspoken. Like Punk cannot help but to call stuff out whenever he sees something is wrong. Like he doesn't have that I don't know, that thought in his head to hold his tongue. He just speaks his mind, and that's the problem.
I listen. I don't give a shit about Punk coming back. He came back after 7 years. I don't care anymore. He doesn't need to be anywhere near this. He's out of money. His wife's the bread maker. He can't keep his fucking mouth shut. He picks on reporters, calls his coworkers children, shits on his boss, sitting next to his boss. Like, get that fucking garbage away from pro wrestling. Go into doing that shitty acting you've been doing for fucking 8 years.
June 21st. June 21st. In Chicago. That's when he'll be back.
Oh, good. My other point to why Jeff is back is Tony's stacking up for the summer because of these big events he's
Oh,
hosting.
absolutely. Yeah, he needs to be able to draw to fill that arena because otherwise he's going to have a hard time doing it.
Yep.
Which is why he needs Punk back.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know. I like
I mean,
Punk.
listen, I get you. I get your frustration. I do. I understand it. I'm a huge CM Punk. Always have been.
Me
right.
too.
But my thing is, there's a level to like what he says. Like a lot of what he says, I think he could be being serious. Some of the stuff, like I know, like a while ago, he was like tweeting out like the most random stuff. Like it was the Shawn Michaels thing, it was the John Moxley thing. A lot of that's how I know he's coming back, because a lot of that I think is just him like trolling. Like he knows people pay attention to his Twitter, so he's just tweeting out the most random stuff humanly possible. Because he knows if he says, "Oh yeah, Chris Jericho's a freaking idiot," John Moxley, "Oh, I hate him too," they're gonna go, "Oh my gosh, he hates Chris Jericho and John Moxley." He knows that. He's literally playing the IWC. That's how I see it.
It's just fucking
And-
crazy. The guy's never
and
seen
if that's
Rocky
the truth-
3.
And if that's the truth, CM Punk is a freaking genius because he's just playing everybody.
I'm on board with you about CM Punk, right? And I very much see. This is where I'm torn. As a fan, I want him back.
Right.
But he's as good as he is. He needs to do what's good for business, and that's put over the talent he set out to put out on top. We've had this discussion in the past. Nobody, other than MJF, I guess now, is in better position than when they started with a feud with Punk.
Of course he is. Yeah.
True.
You bury one of arguably AEW's top talent in Hangman Page like an idiot. There's real life issues there. I don't understand it all, nor am I going to try to.
I know.
And then you have, I don't know why you went into a feud with, I want to work with Darby Allin, and then you don't even put him over.
That's
You made him look like a bitch, in my opinion, right? This is all my opinion.
that. I don't know. That's debatable because I feel like Darby came out better after that feud with Punk. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
The Eddie
Hangman-
Kingston thing didn't do anything for either of those guys.
Listen, I'm much like Punk in the regards of I'll say what's on my mind and I'll give a fuck who's around to hear it. But
And I respect it. I respect it 100%.
you know,
Now,
that's
the Hangman thing you were talking about, I understand what happened there. So apparently Hangman came out. I think it's when Hangman was still world champion, but he came out and said something about him and Cole Cabana or something like that during a promo, and that wasn't planned. Like they didn't know he was going to say that.
One thing I
And
do
that-
agree
and
about
that-
it,
and that
Cole Cabana
is-
is
And that pissed off Punk. So then when Punk was champion, he was like, "Oh yeah, Hangman, get out here. We can have this rematch right now." Blah 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 blah. Which made it worse because that wasn't planned either. He wasn't supposed to call out Hangman because Hangman wasn't even there on that night. So that's what happened there. So
the one thing that pissed me off about this majorly, you have a reporter sitting in front of you. It's very public knowledge what happened between you
And
and Cole,
said reporter also.
right? It's very predominantly public what happened with you and Cole Cabana. There's absolutely no reason for you to sit down, crack your drink, and start shitting on that fucking reporter just because he's friends with somebody you have a public lawsuit against. That was completely unprofessional. It was not needed, and which led into that whole tirade of that night.
That was
It didn't need to happen.
That's Nick from Wrestling Inc., right?
Well, I don't remember who it was because I don't give a fuck about him either. But the point was, it was just unprofessional. So-
this episode should be titled "Shadow Just Goes Off Part 2."
But I'm not. I'm speaking what people need to fucking hear. It's, it's ridiculous. Like we as a wrestling community, whether it be it TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, fucking
Twitter.
I don't know, Instagram, fucking Twitter, your mom's bathroom walls. I don't give a fuck. But like, the problem is everybody is so afraid to speak the shit that needs to be spoken. We have TikTokers who can't even say their opinion without 5 million comments going the opposite way because they don't agree with yours. But yet those same people tell you to respect everybody else's opinion.
facts.
It's fucking garbage. That's why I am unapologetically me. I'll say what I want, and I don't care if you like my opinion or not. What are you going to do? Nothing.
They'll stop following you, Shadow. They'll stop following you.
Oh no. Like me and I'm going to mention one here. Me and Mr. Tesh from Straight Shoot, we don't see eye to eye on every opinion. We're still buddies. We still hang out when I'm down there. What is the issue? Like, why can't people just talk? The internet has ruined anybody having an opinion.
Because they feel that their opinion is the only one that matters and no one else's does.
My opinion is, if I shit out corn and say it whole, you're going to turn around and tell me it's not whole because I ate it, right? Like,
what is this obsession with corn? I don't understand it.
Rain makes corn.
I mean,
Because
corn is the
corn
only.
goes through a lot of shit, literally.
And comes out and still comes out whole.
Right, but somebody's going to tell you it comes out chewed up because that you're not allowed to have that opinion.
All right.
Long ways, huh?
Way off topic, but yeah.
Was there anything else we're going to go into tonight?
I think that's it. I just want to say this. Like, I would like to do one of these kind of episodes for the pod, maybe once a month, twice a month, or whatever. Because I like it because it's kind of just more of us just getting out our thoughts and theories and opinions and things like that. So I don't know. We should call it like I don't know, no holds barred or something like that. So yeah, it's just interesting to kind of.
All right, Shadow, logo, Jamie, image. No holds barred.
I'll figure it out. I'll go with the name and I'll talk around. Call it views from the press
I need
box.
the commission. Oh shit!
Call it views from the press box.
Yeah, I mean, I would have no objections to doing that.
The best of Shadow, no King, no.
That's what we need. Is literally just a compilation of just Shadow.
It's gonna be 45 minutes of me telling people about corn.
Which would be great.
Just call it corn, dude.
Shadow's going to record a corno. Is that what you just said?
It'll be called Welcome to the Corn Realm. Perfect. Perfect.
Corn Club? Is that what we're going with now?
Yep. I like it.
Well, I think on that note, I think we're gonna end for tonight. Jamie, where can we find you?
Man, I say it every damn time, but TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Jamie Rose X. Here on Off the Top, Monday nights after Raw, it is paying dues where you could suck it, and whenever we want to do it, whenever we want to, whatever we want to, gaming content, in the game with the Off the Top media, and where we could talk about corn and how your mom takes it the long way right here at the State of the Union. So that's where you can find me.
You can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Scouts24, Off the Top on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Top Media _, and then on Twitch and YouTube. Shadow?
I mean, I'd be reminiscent if I don't tell y'all to eat corn the long way. And you can find me on Twitter with my stupid tweets at that guy Shadow91, where I make absurd, just random tweets and talk about the Knights and the Leafs. And you can find me on TikTok, not giving a fuck about your opinion, at that guy Shadow91 or Shadow Club. So Cam, where can we find you?
You can find me on TikTok at Cam's Wrestling Corner, also on Call Me Cam G. And if that doesn't sizzle your corn, apparently, you can also find me on Instagram at 317 Bacon Eggs and
All right, guys. With that being said, I want to wish everybody a good evening. We will probably be coming back from our hiatus shortly.
This week.
We're going to be getting everything back going again, so be on the lookout for our next episodes coming up. If you haven't, check out our TikTok, as we will be posting... check out the YouTube, as we'll be posting our career retrospective from last night that was done on Nate's TikTok about Paul Heyman. Have a great evening. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Sit on a corner stock.